Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 8 of Bottom Dweller Banter.
What's up, lovely people? How are you guys?
How y'all doing? What's up with you, man?
Not much. I mean, I think we both agree it's quarantine. There's not really much new going on for many people. In fact, it's just been the same old. It's a beautiful, chilly night. This is the weather exactly how I like it here. Mid-May, nice and chilly in the evening.
I don't know what to make of the weather, though. It's one day it's warm and the other day it's freezing.
It is flip-flopping. That's the classic where we live. I just finished streaming a retro game which made me want to pull my hair out, but other than that, I'm fantastic. I beat the game, so that's why I'm in a chipper mood too. So
Sounds good. I made a more bootleg Arizona green tea.
Oh, you mentioned this to me.
Yeah.
That's legit. So you bought your own ginseng and everything, did you?
No, I didn't have that.
Okay, so
that's
what
why
you put in it?
Just green tea and a bit of sugar. I usually put some honey too, but I'm out of that. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's just ice cold green tea.
That sounds really good and refreshing, honestly.
Yeah.
Like imagine that on a hot work day, man. Oh,
Surprisingly easy to make.
and it's good for you. It's green tea, man.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of benefits, you know. You're doing the right thing.
And
I
it's a
love it.
quarter of the sugar that they put in Arizona. I wonder if they'll send someone after me for doing this. I wonder if they'll send Shaq, you know? Because they did have a partnership with them, right?
Oh my god, Shaq soda. I bought it twice in my life to try it. Oh,
My
actually,
God.
it was not bad, dude. Shaq soda was not bad.
I'm sure.
Have you ever tried Shaq soda?
No.
Dude, it was there in the 2012, 2013
I've seen it.
era.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. His face is on it. He's doing different faces. It is tremendous. All right, let's slide in right into our topics for this week. It seems like the general theme we're going to go with is books here. So I'm going to kick us off. I got to talk about where should you, the listener, the viewer, whoever you may be, you lovely creature, where should you buy your books? So I know some people immediately think Amazon, Amazon. Hold up. Hold that thought, all right? So if you're torn between like wanting to support your local comic book store or bookstore, comic book, see this brain of mine, local bookstore versus something that is convenient like Amazon, for example, there's a few things that I'm going to suggest. And we're going to go through a lot. I'll try and keep it at a good pace though, just to move us along. First off, let's say you want to support new writers, up and comers, and you want to discover new writers. So what I would suggest is you go to your local independent bookstore. And this is based on an article in the New York Times. I will post it in the description of the video. Your best bet for supporting your writers, local independent comic or bookstore comic shopping. Always with the comics separate.
Get comics out
Next
of your
piece.
head for one
I know,
night.
right? Seriously. Do you guys see the posters? Yeah, they see it. See, that's who you're dealing with here, this jabroni.
Anyways.
Next best choice, you go to like an e-commerce site like a IndieBound or bookshop.org. And you should, if you're going to go with Amazon, I beg you, like, please pre-order because that actually gives publishers a lot of data as to the popularity of their book, and that can help the author out as well. Now, if you want to support a publisher, I suggest independent bookstores again. If not, go to a Barnes & Noble, if you got one. You want the fastest delivery? Well, no, duh, you go to Amazon. But I would consider bookshop.org, I mentioned that before, because if you were to place an order before noon, there's a very possible or high chance that that you will get it the same day. It will ship out the same day. You might not get it the same day, though, so fair warning on that. You want the lowest cost? It's Amazon. Damn it, Bezos, you Lex Luthor motherfucker.
I want to chip in a bit.
Go ahead.
Because you're mostly referring to, I assume, physical books.
That is the majority of what I'm referring to.
But
Yep,
I think
physical book.
I don't know if that's the word, the paradigm is shifting to more audiobooks and more digital books. So for a lot of those options, it's really Amazon or nothing.
Well, we'll get to that. Actually, I'm going to talk about ebooks right at the end of this
Okay.
spiel. So don't worry.
All right.
We will definitely cover ebooks. All right. So I talked about Lex Luthor, Jeff Bezos, and him offering the lowest cost Amazon books. He does. That's the truth. Or Amazon does. But your next best option, honestly, is Barnes and Nobles again. Now, if you're all about the best selections, like Amazon again does provide this due to their algorithms and just this insane online catalog they have. But independent bookstores can still scratch that same itch too, quite frankly. If you've been to your local bookstores, you'll see that they have vast collections. So please consider that.
Yep.
Now, as my co-host was like completely correct in saying, the paradigm has indeed shifted to like ebooks, right? Now, if that's what you want, there's a lot of options, but at the same time, obviously Amazon is the powerhouse here again.
Yeah.
But Apple Books, as this article seems to point out, if you really want to support the author better, Apple Books has better terms for those writers. So you should probably consider Apple Books. Your next best choice, though, if you don't want to go for Apple Books, you got those smaller retailers like Hummingbird and Kobo. I'm familiar with Kobo, not familiar with Hummingbird.
I'm familiar with Kobo. I have one of their e-readers. It's pretty good.
It's good?
It's the one
Nice.
that emulates paper.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
This,
I want that.
it's pretty good. The screen doesn't have its own light, but it basically handles light like how paper would, so you don't get any eye strain that you normally
That's
would.
really good.
Yeah, with a blue light screen.
Yeah, those things, they still strain your eyes nonetheless. Overall message I have, though, and I think this article kind of points to it, although I'm going to cuss, is buy the damn book, all right? Don't pirate it.
Yeah, come on.
Please don't pirate it. This is something I am very passionate about. It's supporting the people who make things. It doesn't matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
A game, a book, whatever it is, and you could even be a piece of art online. Like, I'm just saying, like, we need to support the people who put time, energy, sweat, tears, you name it, whatever. We can keep talking about all these different things, but the point is, they should be rewarded for their efforts, you know. And if it's a good product, you gotta help them out. Like, that's my take. I'm
If
sure
you
you
like
both.
something and you want to see more of it, then you better pay up, because you're being hypocritical if you like something enough to pirate it. But
And I can't stress this enough. And this article, I'm so happy they talked about it. Please pre-order. If you really like an author and what he or she does,
yeah,
dude, pre-order, because that is like the highest form of supporting them. Whether you pre-order in a store, like physical store or an online store, do it. You will help them best that way.
yeah.
I can't stress it enough. It's huge, guys. Huge to pre-order. Any other thoughts you have, Bard? Shoot off any you got.
Not exactly books related, but a lot of these book places also sell sheet music, and you can also
Oh,
get
yeah.
it from shops that sell instruments like Long and McQuaid here in Canada. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for that too.
I remember that. Long and McQuaid did sell sheet music.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a reminder right there. All right, throw us into the next topic. I think that's all I got for this one. Unless you have anything else you want to add before we
I
segue.
think that's it for now.
All right, take us away, baby.
Okay, Fast and Furious 10. And hang on, we're jumping ahead. This is why I wanted to keep the Fast and Furious 9 is coming out soon. I believe June 25, according to this article. Fast and Furious for me really, how you say, lost its way post, I want to say 7. I feel bad because 7, obviously Paul Walker passed away. He was involved, that was the last movie he was involved in. And it was a good movie, don't get me wrong, but the racing nature of those Fast and Furious movies have been long been abandoned ever since I think the fourth entry. We're at the point now where there's been more non-racing related movies in the franchise overall than actual racing ones.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I went to see 8 in theaters with friends, right? And the first 10 minutes of that movie, when they're just doing a race, and that was, I thought this was it. It's a comeback, right? But no, it's 10 minutes, and then the actual movie starts, and it's all James Bond spy shit.
Mission Impossible.
Mission
style
Impossible.
shit. Yeah, I
Absolutely
noticed
nothing
that.
to do with racing. I think Dwayne The Rock Johnson turns the direction of a missile rocket with his bare hands. you know?
I forgot he does crazy shit. They're superhuman, all of them, and like,
and they're all jacked, like on
and they're all
Alpha
jacked. They're
Brain or
on
something.
Alpha Brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on an Alpha Brain shroom tech sport.
Yeah.
But guys, we're not sponsored by them. Please, we're just messing. But what was I gonna say? So I've spoken to people about these movies, right? And I think I agree. It's like as a piece of cinema, they're not good. They're not. But if you look at them for what they are and try to enjoy it for what they are, I can, like, if I switch my mindset when I watch it, I have a lot more fun.
Yeah.
But as a piece of cinema, it's not that good.
It's definitely a bros night out type of movie.
Yeah, it's become balls to the wall superhero Mission Impossible, as you just said, level of stuff every movie, and it's
that being
I
said,
don't mind it.
Yeah, like you said, I still despite that I enjoyed it until Hobbs and Shaw. You could even argue 8 wasn't that good, but I thought it was okay. Hobbs and Shaw was genuinely awful.
I've heard it's not great.
It was terrible.
But I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That's again. I haven't watched it. I only heard it from different people. So I need to see it before I make any.
And watching in theaters doesn't redeem it.
It doesn't.
No,
really.
I saw it in theaters. It's god awful.
You would think it would redeem it a bit because of the sound, right? Sound design and stuff. No,
that's what saved most of the other movies, to be honest.
But not Hobbs and Shaw. Huh? God damn it!
Garbage.
That's so unfortunate. But yeah.
Anyway, as I slipped up earlier, 10 is also apparently in pre-production. Vin Diesel hints about it being more of a homage to the entire franchise. Yeah. I believe he said something along the lines of it being like a collection of flashbacks, I guess, which is an interesting direction. Usually these stories in these movies are usually pretty linear, pretty simple. Most things can be solved by driving very fast. So it'll be interesting for them to take a non-linear approach.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say that it's kind of weird. I mean, it's nice that they're doing the more flashbacks and origin driven story now, but it's like you would have sort of wished that it was earlier so that you could be more invested in the characters, because the earlier you flesh someone out, it can be better usually.
That's
I'm not
true.
saying that has to be the storytelling method. Like, it's not the way.
Yeah.
But it would have been nicer if this happened earlier, but at least we're getting it. I guess there's a positive look, right? At least you get that.
Yeah, you're right, because they've had characters come and go with very little fanfare, like Gal Gadot's character back in 5 just killed pretty much unceremoniously. I'm pretty sure they just wrote her out just because she was busy with other projects. But,
I would think so, yeah. That's my thoughts on Fast and Furious summed up, though.
At this point, I've seen enough movies in the franchise that I kind of obliged to watch anything that comes out. Whether I enjoy it or not is remains to be seen. Yeah.
Yep.
What's your favorite one?
5?
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 5 for me.
Yeah.
I walked out of that theater. I went, this is really good. Like, I was like, that was really. That came out, I think, March of 2011, March to May of 2011, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember I enjoyed it heavily with 3 other friends I went with.
Yeah.
It was great. I had a ball. I enjoyed it.
I gotta say 2 for me. Old school.
2 is my next pick. There you go. Yep, 2 is my next. Too Fast, Too Furious. Luda. I love Luda.
Yeah. I like 5 because I was just describing Fast and Furious to a friend who hasn't seen it, and I said in Fast and Furious 5 they rob a bank, and he's like, okay. I'm like, no, you don't get it. They actually rob the entire building.
The freaking safe. The safe. Oh my god, I remember that whole bridge thing with the safe. Oh, I feel like we're spoiling it. Okay, it's an old movie. You gotta see it by now.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that's my favorite though.
Okay, keeping on with the movies and book themes, the media themes of this show. Talking about something that that came completely unexpectedly for me. Movie is being made about a man who made flaming hot Cheetos. We're at this point now where we can make a movie about that.
Ah.
Have some notes here. Director Eva Longoria is making a movie about the man who created flaming hot Cheetos. Richard Montanus will be playing. Oh no,
Yeah.
Richard Montanus is the person who will be played by Jesse Garcia. Not
By the way, guys, we were learning about this as we both read the article.
Yeah,
Like, we didn't
not
know. I never knew who made Flaming Hot Cheetos till I read this article.
Jesse Garcia is not an actor I'm familiar with, but
Same here, man.
it's
Same here.
gonna chronicle his job that he started as a janitor, and moving on to become a corporate executive. I'm actually down to watch this.
I am.
For yeah,
Dude, it's Flaming Hot Cheetos. I
it's
love them.
Flaming
They're
Hot
tasty.
Cheetos. I love the chips. I like chips in general. I'm super down to watch this. I don't think
Yeah.
we've had a movie like this. The closest thing I would say is the McDonald's movie with what's his name?
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton on Netflix.
Oh, he's wonderful in that.
I believe it's called The Founder.
Yes,
I
it is. I
encourage
think it
everyone
is.
to watch that. It's amazing.
Isn't it on Netflix still?
Yeah,
or-
it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix production. So
Right. So
yeah.
there you go. Thank you. I didn't know it was a Netflix production. So, but yeah.
That's it
It's
about
always
this
on
one.
Netflix.
I'm not sure where this movie is gonna be. I'm gonna take a quick look and see where I can. Who's
Yeah,
producing
you go
this
for
movie?
it. Let me just segue and transition us into
Yeah, go ahead.
funny because this is related to me. I keep on saying comic book.
I believe this is also
Comic.
coming on Netflix.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
That's really good. I'm gonna check it out then.
Yep.
Hell yeah, man. Anyway, let's go on to this article that talks about Blade, the MCU version of Blade. God, I love Blade. My co-host knows how much I love Blade.
Yeah.
My friends know how much I love Blade. Blade has been pushed back to 2022 of July. Now, originally, I believe that this movie was meant to be shot in 4 months in September. But I'm honestly, whenever a movie gets pushed back, I don't mind it because I always
No.
like the idea that it's a sign that the writers and the team on pre-production get to spend more time on polishing things, ironing out kinks in the story and the script. And apparently Mahershala Ali is the one who brought the movie's writer on board. I think she wrote the Watchmen TV show, which was wonderful, or was part of it with
Oh.
Damien Lindelof. I can't pronounce his last name. Please excuse me. No director has been locked in for Blade,
Really?
but yeah, which is interesting. But then again, they'd have to start shooting soon, so I imagine they're going to get a director soon enough. I mean, I like
They
the idea.
could get
that they're pushing
Ryan Coogler to do it.
if
feel
he's not busy with Black Panther 2, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he will be though. Hands will be full on Black Panther 2, but I think it's good news. I like stuff being pushed back. It just means more time to not, rush the product and rush the story. And just for my own personal take, I would hope to see, Michael Jai White, great martial artist. He's the real deal. He's got the look. He's quite the actor in my opinion. And I could see him as a younger version of like Jamal Afari, who in the comics was the man who raised and taught Blade everything about vampire hunting. It wasn't Abraham Whistler. That was a David Goyer creation in Blade 1 when he wrote that script. But Abraham Whistler's sick too, by the way. I'm not knocking Whistler. I love Whistler.
Yeah.
Love him. Either mentor figure works for me. I don't want to go too much in depth into what the differences between them, because that's not the point. Those are just my thoughts, and I'm very excited to see what's to come. I want to see an MCU Blade. I would hope it's rated R. It's not gonna be, but yeah.
Yeah, it better be.
It better be. But anyway, you have any thoughts you have on Blade?
That being said, based on the first two Blade movies I've seen, they didn't really leverage the R rating too much, from what I remember.
No, not too much.
A few profanity and maybe a couple of.
Bit of blood.
I can't even say gory, but yeah.
It's just some blood on. Like it's nothing. Like Blade 1, the opening scene was the most bloodiest scene, easily.
Yeah.
Like in the whole trilogy, I think that's the bloodiest scene. So it's like, I think they could make it work. I think the same FX that they used on the first two Blades whenever they slay a vampire, you could easily integrate that into the new Blade. It's such a cool thing. I thought the effects were really cool at the time.
Yeah.
So you're right. I like that point that you brought up. They could make it work, maybe. I hope.
They could push for 16 or younger.
PG-13 or
Yeah.
something.
PG-13 would be pushing it for a Blade flick. I don't know.
Yeah. I just hope that they
I
can
don't know.
push it as far as they can.
Is there
That's all
something
I
in
ask.
between R and PG?
I think no.
Not
I don't think
in
so.
not in North America, I guess.
Not
Europe
in North
has
America,
something
I
like that.
think.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe Europe. You're right. You're right on
It's a
about that.
coin toss for me, honestly. I think they would like to push 13 just for the broader audience.
They should.
But if this movie is rated R, I wouldn't be too if I was a parent, I wouldn't be too concerned about my kid watching it, you know?
The only issue is once it's under that Disney banner, and I talked about this with someone else. In fact, it was on the stream I just had. The Disney banner makes it tough to push the envelope, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a shame. But yeah. Anything else you think before we transition?
No.
All right, let me throw us into this next article. Again, MCU related. I think Moon Knight is currently being shot in Budapest as we speak. I
Oh.
know that Oscar Isaac, I think we both know, many people know Oscar Isaac got locked in for the role of Moon Knight himself, Mark
Yep.
Spector, which is dope. Great. I'm very happy with that, personally. I think it's currently undergoing shooting in Budapest, and we see Ethan Hawke. He was spotted apparently on the set or near the set with really long hair that I guess he'd grown out in preparation for the role. I do have predictions of who he could be. And let me ask my co-host, do you think I can give those predictions here and people won't mind too much? What do you think? Because I have some
go
predictions
for
of who
it.
he might play. Okay, so we just talked about Blade. And I like that this article actually brought it up too, because I was thinking the same thing when I heard he got
Is
cast.
he gonna play Blade?
Ethan Hawke.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know. He could play Dracula, which ties into Blade. That could
Ooh.
work. Dracula is actually a Marvel Comics character, you guys. It's very interesting. Marvel Comics has their own version of Santa Claus. I'm not kidding you. Same with DC.
Is he public domain by now?
Who,
Dracula?
Dracula?
I think so.
I think so. I think I think you and I might have even talked about Dracula a little bit. If he's public.
Okay, if he's public domain, then yeah, anything goes.
He might be. He
Yeah.
might be. He's currently I think he was currently used in the comics recently too, but that's
Yeah.
going aside.
Anyways,
So the other thing is
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke, yeah, he came out and he'd grown his hair, and I think he could either play Dracula or he could be playing another character called Bushman, which is like one of a part of Moon Knight's rogue gallery, and he's one of the most prominent people in Moon Knight's rogue gallery. There's some pretty interesting stuff that happens in the comics, and I will not say it because you should see the show so that when you see it, it's fresh and you're going to be surprised because there's some very big story potential there for having him if he's playing Bushman or Dracula. That's really the update on Moon Knight. I don't know much more about it other than what I just told you guys. Any thoughts?
The last time I saw Ethan Hawke on screen was in a horror movie called Sinister, which I still think is one of the scariest movies I've seen. Yeah, that movie.
I think I've seen him in one movie, but I don't know enough about him.
At this point, it takes quite a bit to get something out of me, but that movie managed. Yeah, that was a fun watch, if not a little, how do you say, distressing, but good movie.
I can't handle
I'd say
scary
check it out. Yeah.
I'll poop my pants.
No,
in
it's
scary
definitely not for the faint of heart.
movies. Like me.
The first 10 seconds of the movie are like set the mood, I would say.
Great, you're giving me every reason to not watch it.
Yeah.
Shit myself.
That's pretty impressive, though. You have to admit. In the first
To set the tone?
10 seconds.
Yeah. Holy smokes, I can't handle it. All right, should we move on to this question I'm going to throw to you?
Yes, please.
Alrighty. So we talked about books. Now let's talk about movie and show adaptations of books. What are the best ones that you've seen, and what are the worst ones that you've seen, if you can remember? No, I'm not pushing you.
You know, when you read a book by yourself, not an audiobook, because I feel like that even colors the impression that you have of the characters that you make up in your mind, what they look like, what they sound like.
Yeah.
Never have I seen an eerily like exact replica of what I had in my mind from reading the books to movie than Harry Potter, which I they somehow, even the details that the book doesn't give you, that your brain kind of fills in, they even got those details somehow. Like the casting in that movie is pitch perfect,
How could
and
I forget Harry
it's
Potter?
insanely well cast. Especially the first couple of movies are like lifted straight out of the books. They had to
Yes,
make
they are.
they had to take more liberties with the following movies just because the
Mm-hmm.
books got so much longer. They had to cut a lot of stuff. But
Yep.
I think they did the best with what they could. But absolutely, Harry Potter, and it's something that the books were something that kind of grew with the audience. They got a little bit more mature and
Mm-hmm.
more serious as the franchise went on, and the movies did a really good job capturing the mood of every book. The first three are like fairy tale ish. The four to six ones are more like a little bit of high school, because you know that he's at that age at the
Yeah.
time, high
Yep.
school,
Yep.
but also more they get into the more competitive aspect of the Harry Potter universe. And they introduce the tournaments, they introduce the sport more, and
Yep.
then the the six seven the second half of six and the two seven movies really capture the explosive finale aspect of the franchise. So
Apparently, last two movies were solid. Like, apparently.
yeah, I
Um,
would. The only criticism I have of Seven Part One is it's mostly a setup movie
yeah.
for two. Um, it doesn't not a lot of consequence happens in Seven Part One. Yeah, I feel like it could have been condensed a bit, or I even
Hmm.
feel like they could have just done one movie, to be honest. But yeah,
Hmm.
other than that, amazing. Six and two are definitely my favorites.
Damn, you're right. Oh
Yeah.
my god, I completely forgot Harry Potter as being one of those.
Not at this moment, nothing comes to mind. But maybe if you go ahead, I'll remember. Meanwhile,
I want to talk about the best ones I've seen were one of them. I think I saw Shawshank Redemption. That's a Stephen King
yeah,
book that got adapted. And that's a good movie.
Stephen
There was
King's
this.
books really make good movies for some reason.
Well, well,
Some
I'm
of
gonna.
the
Here's where I'll
yeah,
give you the exception because this is one I actually watched recently and I didn't enjoy it. It's a movie called. It's based on a 2006 book called Cell, and it's the movie's the same name. 2016 movie though. It's got Samuel L. Jackson in it.
okay.
Um, it I listen. People who've read the book may be able to correct me here, but as far as I'm concerned, that movie got the ending from the book wrong. I don't know what happened. I know Stephen King helped write that movie. I checked later, but that was not a good adaptation of his book. I didn't like that movie very much, to tell you the truth. That it's not one of the. I mean, do I consider it one of the worst? As far as what I can pull out of my head right now, yes.
As
So
in terms of not being faithful to the source material,
I just
or
didn't also like how it was handled as well, like elements of the
okay,
movie. Yeah, it just
or
didn't work
just
for
as a
me.
watch, just as a movie, it's not that enjoyable either.
I just couldn't. It was
That's
too
fair.
much at points, a bit too much.
Is it
Um,
one of his horror projects, or
Cell, I believe yes, it is. Yeah,
I thought,
someone can correct me.
because I
It's
thought you
been a
weren't into horror.
while. I had. You're gonna find it hard to believe, but I have a few horror books.
I love
And
horror books.
when I watched that movie, I watched it because it was last week was Mother's Day, and I just happened to um, like my mom was like, "Oh, watching a movie," and I said, "You know what? Let me watch it with you." And it was Cell.
Horror and book format is something that shouldn't work as well in theory, but it's surprisingly effective.
It can be,
Yeah, some of
yeah.
my favorite works are horror, like Edgar Allan Poe, or
Ah, yes.
even an H.P. Lovecraft or Stephen King, obviously.
I believe Edgar Allan Poe was the one behind "Quote the Raven."
Yeah,
Nevermore,
yeah.
nevermore. Sorry, but yeah, that's what I remember for best and worst. You remember anything? If not, I can.
So I did my best. I'm trying to think of a worst. I mean, the Lord of the Ring movies are usually considered one of the best adaptations. I did
Yep.
feel like they maybe I need to watch the director's cut or something, but I did feel like they left a lot of stuff out. Uh,
They did, but those movies, I only saw the first Lord of the Rings and I enjoyed it very much.
yeah,
And my memories of it, though, and its details and differences from the books are rather sparse.
same.
Um,
It's not something as fresh in my memory, especially
yeah,
I it is something I need to rewatch now because
yep.
I don't have the time to reread it, but
No, yeah, life
I
is just
can
hustling and
I can
bustling.
definitely rewatch them. Thinking
Uh,
of worst adaptations. Let me look up a quick list while you talk
yeah,
about something.
I want to talk about another thing. I'm a big fan of reading and watching autobiographies or biopics. And um, what I've seen for biopics, I've seen Spartacus with Kirk Douglas. I saw that a long time ago and I enjoyed it. I think I saw The Pianist, directed by Roman Polanski.
I like that movie.
Um, but I recall very little about both, but I remember enjoying them. That's the thing. And Schindler's List, I saw that 8 years ago, and that's a heck of a movie. Spielberg, I believe, directed it, right? I think so.
Yeah.
Again, that's like sort of, and this kind of like segues into like my favorite genre of book, which I will ask you about after that. But it's just like I enjoy autobiographies, quite honestly. I've enjoyed mystery books. I have a lot of mystery books I've read in the past, but yeah, biopics is something I wanted to discuss with you and ask you what you've seen. You said just now you saw The Pianist, right?
Yeah, I've seen The Pianist.
Right.
As as far as biopics go, I'm mostly into the musical ones. I like Bohemian Rhapsody with Rami Malek, obviously. I don't know why the critical response for that movie was as low as it was. I thought it was a really fun watch.
Critics can be weird, don't you think,
Yeah,
sometimes?
and then a lot of people were saying about the historical inaccuracies of the movie. Mm, I think it got the idea, pretty much. Elton John movie was actually really good.
Ooh,
Rocket
I'd like to
Man.
see that.
Yeah,
I gotta see that.
yeah.
I'm gonna make a note of it right after we finish the pod.
And apparently they are working on a Michael Jackson one with the same director as or same producer as Bohemian Rhapsody, which will be interesting. That will
What?
definitely be a more controversial project.
You bet it is, unless they
It'll be
perfectly.
interesting to see how they how they address those parts, or even
Yeah.
I was laughing about this with a friend, but how they even gonna have two different actors for the kid and the adult, you know, the skin
Oh my
color,
god.
the skin color aspect. It's
I was yawning and I started to like I couldn't laugh at the same
gonna
time.
be a challenging
I was like about to
project
choke on
for
myself.
sure. Yeah,
Oh my god, I didn't know that's even in like pre-production or whatever it might be in. Jesus.
definitely gonna be
Anyway,
interesting. So I got an
um,
article here.
go for
The
it.
worst book to movie adaptations, and I'll run through them, and you let me know. The
Go.
Hobbit.
Oh god,
Not familiar with either the book or the movie, to be
there was the
honest.
Hobbit trilogy that took one book and stretched it out. I don't need to say anymore. It's not
Okay,
great.
I've heard
Next.
enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Twilight.
Never. I don't know. I can't comment on that. Unfortunately, I
Is
stayed away.
so is this referring to the this is referring to the adaptation, which assumes that the source material was good to begin with. Oh, I won't say anymore.
Oh my
The
god.
Great Gatsby.
Wait a
I
minute.
like that movie.
I remember that movie being
I
okay.
don't think I agree with this. I actually like
And
that
you're the one
movie.
that brought that movie back into my eyes again. You
Oh
showed me
yeah,
those
because
clips.
of that. It was
Yeah.
basically because of that scene with Toby
Amitabh
Maguire.
Bachchan?
Yeah, Toby. Think about this: Toby Maguire, Leo DiCaprio, and Amitabh Bachchan
Yeah.
in one
Yeah.
scene. I don't have to say
Ah.
anymore.
Yeah, you guys got to look it up on YouTube,
Well,
please.
let me say, while Jay-Z music is playing in the background.
Oh my god, what a medley. Uh,
Yeah.
all right, what else is on that list before we
The book
move on?
Thief, also not a work that I'm familiar with.
No, I don't know. I'm being honest
Uh,
here. Keep
A
going.
Wrinkle in Time.
Yes. Read the book, never watched the movie though. So I can't comment on that. Good book though.
Okay. There was an actor on this poster that looks really familiar. Oh, that would be what's his name? The one in the Star Trek reboots. What's his name? Oh, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh no.
I'm shooting blanks.
No. Why am I
What's
having a Joe Biden moment?
what's his name?
Guys, please.
And he's also
please
in
help.
Hell or High Water. Oh, Chris Pine. Chris Pine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My God. I was like, it
Uh,
starts. It's his last name is a P. What is it?
yeah, I know. Crispy.
Crispy.
Yeah.
Crispy.
Anyways,
Anything else?
moving on to I'm trying to look for ones that I actually know. The Dark Tower. I believe that's a Stephen King project.
Not familiar.
16% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's rough.
Oh my good God Almighty.
Okay. Wow. Nothing else here that I'm familiar with.
That's fine. I mean, I think we've covered quite a bit of like movie adaptations and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Let us move on to. I have to ask you though quickly. I mentioned my favorite genre of book. Do you got one?
These days, horror.
These days, horror.
Yeah.
Got it. And do you prefer fiction or nonfiction?
I prefer fiction.
Fair enough. I prefer nonfiction personally, but it's just a slight edge.
That
quite
might
frankly.
change because I pretty much grew up my whole life reading fiction, and at this point I feel like I've read the majority of stuff that I've wanted to read.
Yeah.
There's some books that I grew out of. Like I really liked Hunger Games as a teenager.
Whoa.
I tried reading it again, man, and I'm like the writing.
No good.
I was being like a literature snob. I'm like this is like grade school writing. I don't know.
Yeah, I have those moments where when I'm reading.
Yeah, I
I'm
grew
like,
out
what
of
is
some
with this?
books, and yeah,
Well, actually,
some of those IPs might just live on as movies for me, to be honest, going
And
forward.
you know what? That's
Yeah.
fair, honestly. And this actually, you growing up out of movies, like brings me to this last thing I want to talk to you about. And by the way, uni students who are listening to this might be like throwing up at the thought of reading books. So like, I do enough of that. I don't want
Oh
to.
no.
Yeah, it's like that's fair. But anyways, let me ask you this: do you have any first books that you remember reading? Like, do you remember your first few books? Doesn't have to
Yeah,
be the first.
totally.
Do you remember? Go
Yeah,
ahead, tell
it
me.
was a novel based on the UK for kids, I believe. Secret Seven and Famous Five.
Wow,
It was quite
I've heard
popular
of
back home. Yeah,
Secret Seven. Holy crap!
it
I've
was.
heard of that.
I think it was the same writer who did Secret Seven and Famous Five. They were even in the same cinematic universe, if you want to
Oh
if
god.
you want to say that. Yeah, quite
Uh,
enjoyable for kids literature. They kind of invoke that mystery, Hardy Brothers type of vibe. They try to get you
oh man, the
try to get
Hardy
you to think.
Brothers.
Hardy Brothers was a good read too.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Yes, they were. My first few books were off the top of my head. I've read A Wrinkle in Time. We talked about Harry
Yeah.
Potter books I read, but for some reason my brain just eliminated all information about Harry
Your brain
Potter.
formatted C drive.
I
Yeah.
think so. It reformatted Harry Potter out of me.
Yeah.
I've read The Hatchet. I believe The Hatchet was by Paul. I think the author's name involves Paul. I don't remember his last name, but anyway. And as a kid, obviously in my youth, I was consuming comics by the metric ton. But I was gonna ask you this: do you remember like reading a book as a kid and disliking it? Because normally as kids, we're like pretty easy to go along with stuff. Do you ever remember reading something and just going, "Wait, what?" And you just put it down? Do you ever have that or no?
Trying to think. Yeah, but usually it was the case that at that level of my reading, because I didn't necessarily grow up in a English proficient country. At that level, my reading wasn't at the level of that book to enjoy it, or
Got it.
maybe the book was more for a more
Mature
refined,
audience.
more mature audience. Not in the sense that it was graphic or anything, just it was a bit slower paced. A lot
Yeah.
of the classical British literature books, like the Mark Twains and the Charles It's Charles Darwin, Charles Dickens, Charles Dickens books. They kind of grew on me as time went on.
Right.
Definitely. Kidnapped was another book I really enjoyed by the same person who wrote Treasure Island. The name escapes me right now. I think Robert Stevenson.
Holy crap! I've read Treasure Island.
Yeah, really good books. Yeah.
Huh. But I'm the same as you. I can't remember an explicitly trash book I read in my youth.
Yeah.
But if I reread it, I would probably have a different opinion.
Yeah.
You know? But that's in closing. I think we've covered up just about everything about
That's
books.
that a very literature and cinema themed episode for you all.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the pop culture mixed in with good old books. Books.
Read some books, people.
Read books. They're nice, man.
Yeah.
Like, they're nice. But you just have to find something. You got to experiment a bit, and you'll find what clicks. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find it. You got to just be open to it, and that's it. And that's it, and that's that. You got any closing thoughts, lovely boy Bard?
We're good. We gotta wrap
All
up.
right.
Pushing 40 minutes
wrap
here.
All right.
Yeah.
So you know what it is, people. Subscribe on our YouTube, the Bottom Dweller Banter Podcast. Keep up with us on Spotify, on Twitter at BD Banter Podcast, and our Instagram, I believe, is just Bottom Dweller Banter or Bottom Dweller Podcast. Try either. I'm pulling a blank as to which it is, but that's all right. You'll find us. And that's all I got for us. That's all we got for you guys. And we are off to swim in the sea of life, y'all. Much love. Take care and stay safe.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Peace, fellow bottom dwellers.